Welcome back, Black Ice Reality Check. I'm your host, Black Ice. We have a special guest from Boston.
Boston area.
Jovany YD is here in the house, flew in to Las Vegas, Sin City. He's here to talk about
personal empowerment, modern dating,
development,
everything that's going to benefit you to be the best version you can be.
Right on. And he's been a guest on Just Pearly Things, right?
Correct. I got other podcasts in the works as well.
Yeah, and you're starting your own new podcast. You're going in that direction that you want to go, right?
Yeah, it's in. I'm learning.
You're learning.
I go. Yeah.
No, but you've you've been on Just Pearly Things, like the number one podcaster in the Red Pill on the women's side. Correct. Well, Red Pill in general, but she's the Andrew Tate woman version. Yeah. Right? Am I right?
No, I agree. I support Pearl 100%.
Yeah.
I think she's very necessary.
Now she's here in Chicago too. You know that she's setting up a Chicago office.
I seen that. Yes.
Yeah. So let's talk about your background and how you got started. So where are you focused right now? You're in Boston. Are you going to stay there in Boston?
So I live outside of Boston.
Okay.
But I always just say Boston because most people don't know anything outside of it.
Sure. I get it.
But yeah, my focus right now is just building my brand, building my name,
right,
and just keep putting out content. So like I've just recently decided to be committed to that, and it's going well so far. So
and when you say personal empowerment, what is are you a coach right now? Are you working with people individually, or are you just doing stuff over the internet to empower people?
Yeah, right now at the moment it's over the internet.
Okay.
Just making videos. I've done this for like 10 years.
Wow.
Like I've been putting out content since I was like 20, 21. I'm 30 now.
Wow.
So it's been a journey. I'm just now like realizing, all right, let's really be serious about this.
And was this your main focus of your job or income, or were you doing something else prior? What were you doing for a living as you were doing this? Because there's always a transition, or some people still do both, right? You know, I'm in the tech industry. I'm still in that industry, but Patrick Bet-David was in insurance, but he sold it, $300 million.
Right.
That would have been nice, right?
Yeah.
So what do you do is that your sole focus of making money and income right now, or?
So yeah, at the moment, like I'm all in on this.
Oh, okay.
Like I flew all the way out to London just to be on the podcast for Just Pearly Things.
Right.
Like on like 4 days notice. Like.
Okay.
Boom.
Okay.
Got in contact with you.
Yeah.
Flew out here, so I'm at the point where wherever I gotta go to make it happen, I'm there.
Right on.
Yeah.
So when's your new podcast going to be up on YouTube?
I'm hoping within like the next month or two.
Okay.
And it's more like technicalities that I'm learning to figure out. As far as like what I want to do and the direction I want to go, that's all figured out. I'm just figuring out like stuff like this.
Yeah, it's funny because, I'm always the business guy that just does it. But then the administrative side, the technology side, I don't want to deal with, right? Like yourself, people person, interacting. Hey, I got an idea, I want to do it. And then it's like, well, you figure it out. You're the engineer, right? And so there's this huge gap. And then once you get started, it's getting the momentum going, right? It's the I don't quit mentality and mindset. Because right now, I see the younger, and I don't want to say your generation, but in general, when we grew up, it was like, the 45 and over group. It's like, man, we had to work to get our own school clothes. We didn't have anything. We had to go. And now I see this younger generation take one step forward, and then it's like, oh, it's too hard, I quit. But everybody's having a podcast now, and I think what makes the difference is the constant determination, the consistency, and the don't back down. Stand behind what you believe in, right? Be confident. Because it's funny, the other night I saw another gentleman who here lives locally. He's starting a podcast. And I'm all for people having podcasts. Don't get me wrong. But it's funny how many people start and fail, right? And I think, if you put your foot down and keep going forward, you're going to make it happen. But not only that, we just talked about in the hallway, the other obstacle is our topic.
Yes.
Because if it doesn't fit the narrative, and I'll say this, of the left, the social media platforms don't want to push our content out. How have you noticed that affect you?
Yeah, so like I was speaking to you before about this, just posting personal empowerment, they'll push it, no problem. Like you use hashtags when you're building up like I am.
Sure.
And then you start posting red pill content, and for no reason, they'll block your videos, or your videos will get flagged and taken down, or you use hashtags that normally get you the views, and these hashtags aren't doing anything. They're not coming in, because on Instagram, most of your traffic is from non-followers. If you notice, like they only show a small percentage of your followers, your content. So you're relying on like hashtags and like external sources to bring the views. But when you're posting these content, like at least for me, what I noticed, like it's not coming in from non-followers.
Yeah.
It's every now and again. So I think that once they realize you're in this type of sphere, they kind of, you said shadow ban, right?
Yeah. It's a shadow ban, and some people don't believe in it, but people don't realize how hard we work. You know, I don't edit the videos, but I do the time codes. But I spend maybe 8, 9, 10 hours a day building my brand. People are like, what are you doing? And there's stuff you can't account for. Figuring out the algorithms, figuring out what's not doing what, studying, reading your material. And, you know, a lot of times people think that we just make this shit up, right? I'm reading Jordan Peterson books. I'm listening to Ben Shapiro. I'm going to the Census Bureau. I'm reading different psychology books. I'm watching YouTube videos. I'm studying and trying to figure out, why did this video do good and this one didn't? And it's funny because I talked to the engineer about this. I had a video, man, this thing's gonna kill it. And there's no views. And then I put another video out. It's like, yeah, okay, and it does great. And then you go in and you're like, wow, it went to 80% non-followers. This one went to all followers but didn't go external. And then you look at the hashtags, and there's no method to the madness. I figured out a cheat code, I'll tell you after we get off the podcast.
I look forward to that.
But it works. It's a cheat code. I told a friend, he's an empowerment guy. I don't think he's using it, but I won't talk about it on the podcast. But so let's talk about dating and relationships. How do you help people in relationships? Like what's your focus and what trend? Let me ask you this. I'm going to restate this. What trends have you seen that are affecting relationships now that you think didn't affect relationships 10 years ago? What's the difference between 10 years ago and now? Why are relationships failing? Why are marriages failing? What do you think the reason is?
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting question, and I'll share a story with you real quick as well that'll tie into this. Yesterday, I was at the Venetian Shops, and I was at the Oxygen Bar, and I was the guy, they call them bartenders. So we had this exact same conversation, that question you just asked me, basically. And I was talking about, I think, just the lack of respect for men, just the average man, right? And how difficult it is for the average man to navigate and gain respect from women without having like the status, without having the money, without having all of it. And most people don't have that. So when you have women that are sold that this is the guy, Prince Charming, it starts off at Disney. Like Prince Charming isn't poor. He's a prince. He's got the money. He's coming to you.
Right.
He's coming to save you. What that means is you can do whatever you want in your life, and at the end, there's going to be someone there that's going to come and save you,
right,
and accept you regardless of what you've done.
Right.
And I think that's one of the major issues, is that women don't realize that their actions have consequences in getting what you want. You don't realize it, and that's why I've always connected with older women more than younger women. And if you listen to these older women, they'll have a different perspective than the younger women. And younger women just typically don't want to listen because they can't comprehend that perception.
Well, and they're diluted from the attention.
100%.
Right. I call it female attention necessity disorder. I created that, right? And the psychology, it'll never be in a psychology book. The science of psychology and medicine will never accept that terminology, but...
You gonna get that trademark?
Yeah, trademark, bam, stamped. The fact of the matter is, women say, I don't need a man because they have all the attention. Women are creatures of habit, but they love attention. That's just how they are. That's how they were designed. They want attention. And by nature, they have it. Like at 18, you already have value as a woman, right? If you're attractive as a woman and you got pretty girl value, pretty woman value, you have the attention. So if you're constantly getting, constantly getting flooded with attention, your oxytocin levels are high.
Yep.
Oh, and you're a 3, and this is the other delusion. Oh, I'm not a 3, I'm a 10. I got good personality. No, I'm not talking about your total market value place, sexual marketplace. I'm talking about your looks. And they say it's subjective, but it's objective. You look at like a beauty pageant. I know that's changed because now I have transgender beauty pageant, right? Like that's not a woman, but biologically. But overall, bikini contest or whatever, majority of men will vote for that one that says she's the prettiest. That's objective, right? It's statistically proven. So what happens is the woman will say, well, I'm a 10 and she's a 3. Right?
Yeah, that's the problem. We allow women to just say whatever they want, do whatever they want, and just allow them to live in that fairy tale where we can't, as men, cannot do that.
Yeah, I just saw a thing. I'm the average height, and I'm not defending my height. I'm 5'9". I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I have a beautiful girlfriend, just a dime, and not only that, she's feminine. She's I have no drama, right? But I found the cheat code how to find the right women. I also got a cheat code for that. I've talked about it. People haven't picked up on it. They're still doing the opposite of what I say. But I've proven that over time. I've been around. I'm double OG, old guy, original gangster, right? I've been around a minute. But what I've noticed is that when you're dealing right now with the current modern day women, and they say, well, I want to talk. You have short guy syndrome. You have small penis energy, right? Insult, guilt, shame, and the need to be right. Yeah. Kevin Shandler said, right?
Yeah. No, I'm glad you brought. I want to tie it into that. I'm gonna let you finish, but I had
a podcast. She's like, "Oh, you're just short because you're short." I say, "I already have mine. See, I already have. I'm not here because I don't have. I'm here to help." But then they come to attack. I don't need a man. Well, you don't need a man. OnlyFans girl says she doesn't need a man. I said, "You're right. You don't qualify for one man. You're below that. You need multiple men to take care of you on your OnlyFans to pay for your bills because you can't qualify to get one man to be your partner because of your behaviors, your attitude, your mindset. You're not at that level because right now you're living in this fantasy delusion land that the Notebook lifestyle you want, but you won't accept it. And so you feel that you can get the high value man, the guy that has everything, that has the options. And this is why women are single. Ready?
Yeah.
They're single because they say they don't need a man. They're single because they can't get the man they want. They can attract the guy that wants to sleep with them, but they don't qualify to keep the guy that they really want. That's the facts, right? Do you disagree?
No, I agree with that 100%. I spoke about this briefly on Pearl's podcast, how they have the idea guy that they want to go for. And they'll chase that until their value is no longer the same. And they realize they have to go for something different. Right, they have to settle for the more average guy. Basically, a lot of the things that they want, they realize they're not going to get, and they have to compromise. And what they'll do is they'll disguise this under maturity. You ever meet an older woman, and then her excuse for messing up with a bunch of guys that didn't treat her right or cheated on her in the past, she'll say, "Well, I've matured. I learned from my mistakes, and yeah, I'm just a better person now." Yeah, you could say it's maturity, but the truth is, if you're really honest with yourself. I don't care how mature you are at 33, how much life experience you have, how much lessons you've learned from those heartbreaks and cheaters and all that. Be honest with yourself as a woman. If you could still get that type of guy that you wanted in your 20s right now and have him commit to you, you would choose him over this guy that you're with now.
Boom.
So, but they'll disguise it, like you said, shame, insult, guilt, and the need to be right. It's hard to have conversation with women when everything is emotion-based. And that's why I love this red pill, because it creates conversation. Like, these type of conversations usually aren't happening in like indoors. It's usually like guy to guys, private conversations. And I'll give you an example of this and why you talked about standing on your beliefs and why I think this is so important. I've had conversations with men for hours about the type of content, talking about the red pill, dating, and they'll agree with everything I say for 2 hours straight. "Oh, you're right. That's crazy. That's crazy." And then at the end, they'll be like, "You don't talk about this with women, do you?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" "Well, it would be offensive to women." I'm like, "But you disagree with everything that I said."
It's the fear of losing
access.
They're losing access, right?
I had a girl comment on my one of my posts, and she was basically talking about trying to put it on men and saying that men need to be better, which is true.
But we admit that.
Yeah,
we can admit we need to be better. I need to be better. You need to be better.
100%, and that would have to happen on a grand scale. But I was telling her, I was like, no, you don't realize the male experience. You can never comprehend the male experience, and what you don't understand, because I was talking about having standards. and she was like, "Oh, men need to have higher standards." I was like, respectfully, it's easy for you to just say a man should have higher standards when you don't realize for the average man, he can't have these high set standards. Like if you're an average man and you start talking about you want a girl with a low body count, or you look at you want a virgin, or you don't want your girl to go to the club or post naked pictures on Instagram or have a private Instagram account, and you just start setting standards for yourself and boundaries, right? What they'll do is they'll instantly shame you for it. And because they won't accept that from a guy that's not high status.
And I'm going to twist your mind on this. This is going to blow your mind. I'm 100% in agreement. This is going to flip the red pill. You're going to see the comments. I'm going to post a short on this. My girlfriend is a fitness competitor, wellness, NPC. She's won 2 overall wellness competitions. She's trying to go pro this year. She's you've seen the women bodybuilders, fitness girls. They get on stage. They got the T-bar, boom, right? So she posts that stuff. You see her Instagram. Now, here's the ironic thing. I tell women this, and then the women say you're hypocritical because my girlfriend, her Instagram, you're like, whoa, right? But she's an athlete. Now, because she's trying to go pro, and we all know who corporations are. We know how you have to fit the mold. If you say anything that's too controversial, they're gonna ban you, right? So my girlfriend, I'm not on her Instagram. She put me on there once, and her followers went down, right? I've seen her DMs. I laugh. They're dudes, right? But whatever.
Of course.
I'm at a different level, right? But also, I don't want her to be affected in her career to go pro because somebody from the IFBB sees my content and doesn't allow her to move forward in her career as an athlete because of me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like guilty by association.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I talk about women's Instagrams and I say, look, your IG is preventing you from having a healthy relationship. What about your girlfriend? That's different. I approved of it. When I met her, she had a basic bitch IG. 3 weeks. She had food pics up there. She had meal preps. She had a picture with her brother. And I was like, look, what are you trying to do? And I used to compete back in the days. I was a football guy, a track guy. Hey, what's up, George? George, shout out to George Engineer. I was a track guy, athlete guy, whatever. And then bodybuilding, jiu-jitsu, right? I did all this stuff, right? And I said, look, you're going to compete in bodybuilding? She said, yeah. I said, why is your Instagram so plain Jane? So what do you mean? You're an athlete. You have to show your brand. We show our brand, right? Dan Bilzerian, women, he shows his brand. Michael Sartain, Rollo Tomasi, Kevin Samuels, they show what they've done. You show your brand. I looked at your IG. This is what I do. She's like, you're right. So she started putting pictures of her posing in the gym, her glutes, all this stuff. I approved it.
Yeah.
Go for it. She asked me every time, what is this? And there's a couple, don't post that. That's a little too much because you're giving off the wrong message. That's more athletic. So if you go to her IG, you're like, whoa, Latina, hot, exotic, fit. She got abs. I mean, she got legs, quads, glutes. Fine. Now go to my IG. Why is your girlfriend on there? I'll tell you why my girlfriend's not on my IG. Because when I put her on there, all the feminists go after her. She gets attacked.
Yep.
We're the exception. But in general, you're right. They live in this fantasy, right? They think the more they show, the better their outcome. But what they're attracting is what they want, right?
Yep.
They're objectifying themselves sexually. They get a guy, and I look at these girls, and I'm not going to speak for you, but I will, but I won't. We're men, right? We were put here to breed. Now, in the Bible, it says be with one person or morally, but honestly, we weren't meant to be with one person.
Yeah, I've said this for like the longest time.
And I believe in God, but I'm just saying, dude, we're men.
You can choose to be monogamous, but that's your choice. But biologically, and this is the thing about men, we don't get the same acceptance that women get. Like, we can't tell women to, like, for instance, like you said, we want to naturally go from thing to thing. That's just a biologically wired thing to thing.
Right.
So, but we'll get shamed for that. What do they call us? Dogs.
Fuck boys.
Fuck boys.
Yeah.
Every name in the sun, right? For just the way we're wired, and we're told, oh, well, if a real man, this is how women Women have shamed men into converting to their perception. Because the minute they don't agree with your perception, what do? They shame you, said small dick energy, insecure, controlling. So a man has to, like you said, a man that doesn't have that high level of access of women and that status, he has to take a step back. Okay, I can't. He doesn't want to push the issue.
But yeah, you're right.
He doesn't want to push the issue because you realize, okay, she doesn't agree with this. She's shaming me for it. So this isn't right. If I continue this, I'm going to lose her. I'm going to lose access. That's why I talk about standing on your shit. And Andrew Tate proved a lot. Just the whole situation. Let's talk about this real quick. You've seen people that were supporting him, and then the minute that happened, they either flip-flopped or they just completely disappeared. Right? They didn't want to support him in the public. And I supported him through the whole
100%.
Through the whole thing.
And Tristan.
Both
Tristan doesn't get enough props.
Because he didn't even do anything.
He was guilty by association.
So the thing with the Andrew Tate situation is that you've seen a lot of cowards. Like you've seen a lot of these red pill guys. You talk about male empowerment and you're supporting Andrew Tate, you support the movement. But when things went left, you disappeared. I lost people that I considered family for supporting Andrew Tate. I lost lots of followers. I lost people that I knew for 10 plus years, people that I was in life or death situations for. I lost a lot of people that I cared about for just speaking my beliefs and supporting people like Andrew Tate, supporting people like Kevin Samuels, Fresh and Fit, things like that. So you have to stand on what you believe in. And I think that most men are afraid to say the truth outside of the red pill content.
Well, because these are what I call surface dwellers. They skim on the surface. They don't drill down deep, right? Mm-hmm. Their depth and conviction of knowledge is lacking, because what they'll do is they'll take a surface level topic. I'm there. Oh, how dare he choke someone out? What? Whoa. Did you do your due diligence? Overeducated, broke-minded people are the most dangerous individuals in the world. We're seeing it on a global scale, not to get into politics. But what happens is if I'm a person of influence, Joe Rogan, Patrick Bet-David, Andrew Tate, Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, anybody, whether it's right, left, conservative, liberal, whatever, if I say the earth is flat and you're a supporter of me, you might start believing it's flat, right? Do your homework. Mm-hmm. Are you with me? Yeah. And that's kind of a, whatever. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, no. The point is about taking in information.
And so what I do is I go to the Census Bureau. I'm like, what are they talking about that, 81% of women, single households are single moms. I did my due diligence. Mm-hmm. Whoa, the data supports it. What are they talking about? 1 in 4 black women are never going to get married or have kids. I did my due diligence. But what happens is they'll go off of their favorite show tune character that says, here's the proof, right? And then they don't do their due diligence. And what happens is you're not my brother. You're not my cousin. Mm-hmm. I've lost friends. Yeah. And I'm going to say it again, and I hope she sees this, right? But she blocked me. Friend of me and my girlfriends. Yeah. Came to me for help on relationships. I told her what she needed to do. Now, when I coach women, 1.5 out of 10 follow through with what I'm doing, and the 1.5 that do have a successful relationship or get into a relationship. They don't want to make the sacrifices, right? She came to me, I helped her. And I have this whole thing, and I just talked about it. I know people are going to say, you just talked about it. This whole correlation with cats, horoscopes, angel numbers, and single women, right? Mm-hmm. And liberal women. They're all there in the same pocket. She made a comment about Andrew Tate when he said, I think I saw a ghost while I was in jail. Okay, think about this. You're in a 6x6 cell for 90 days having conversations with cockroaches. Mm-hmm. Okay? I don't care how strong your mind is. You're going to bend to a point. You might think you saw a ghost. Doesn't mean you're crazy or insane. She goes, I can't believe men support this guy. Look at him. He said he saw a ghost, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. I said, and I responded, and I was joking, but I wasn't, but I was joking. I said, says the woman that believes in horoscopes and angel numbers. Mm-hmm. Laugh out loud. I sent her a message of her story. I was joking with her. Yeah. Now, we've had a great relationship. She blocked me. Sent me this derogatory message. I'm like, are you kidding me? You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And the whole point was your anger about Andrew Tate when you don't really know the guy he is. There's a 5-hour interview out with Valuetainment with Patrick Bet-David and Adam Sosnick. Watch it. He has not done anything bad. He's trying to empower men.
And that's the problem. No, that's the real issue.
That's the issue.
That's
you
the
hit
issue.
it. You're right.
Men aren't allowed to be empowered because men that are empowered are dangerous. You have to control men. And
well, we're not dangerous.
Not dangerous like to society.
But we're dangerous towards the false narrative.
Exactly. Dangerous towards the agenda. Right? And it's facts over feelings. That's what it's all about. It's facts over feelings. And it's very interesting. Like you said, you bring up statistics, you do the research, and you encourage people to, even though they support you, listen to you, to do your own research.
Right.
Like, don't just take my word for it. Like, you can look it up yourself. But it's funny because I encourage facts over feelings, because the first thing a woman will say when she's uncomfortable with a truth and a statistic or a point that you're making and a perspective that you're making, she's going to say, well, where's the proof? Where's the statistics? You're just saying anything. But then you actually say the statistic, and then they still don't listen.
No.
So it's like, which one is it? You can't be like, oh, where's the proof? And then when we give you the proof, you still find some way to like wiggle out of it. And women just don't handle the truth well. We don't tell women the truth. And this is why I tell men, you have to start telling women the truth. You have to. And it's not to like disrespect women. And that's the thing, like people,
now you become judgmental, right? Now you're judgmental.
I'll tell you, because I start posting this type of content, right? And you start, women take it as you hate women. It is crazy that if you hold women accountable and you start pointing out their inconsistencies and their behaviors, it's almost looked at as like you hate women, you don't like women. But women can just say whatever they want on podcasts, TV shows, YouTube, and say whatever they want about men, and nobody's like, oh, you hate men. It's like we aren't allowed to have an opinion.
Well, and it's funny, there's different levels of success. I tell people, they're like, you must be making money. It's like, no, I'm not doing this for money. Right? Because in the beginning stages of what we do, there's no money. Because we're getting suppressed. Our content, stay down, right? There's different levels, right? And then you get up to the point where you're successful and you kind of open up your topics into, social issues, worldviews, politics, red pill. And then you get to the point where I call the top of the house, right? See, there's different levels. I'm in the basement. It's funny, I came up with this analogy. We're in the basement. Elon talked about it. He said, when I took over Twitter, they were shadow banning. He goes, I wish all social media companies didn't shadow ban, like Google, Meta, right? They're shadow banning, right? And then he took over Twitter. He drained the swamp. Way too many employees. He opened up the algorithms. Now, it's funny because I post on Twitter, it's like, boom, followers. It's growing. Before, it was like, so watch this. We're in the basement. How do we get through the door? Well, you, me, and other people at our level, I'll call it, to a point, we're hitting our head. We're stuck in the basement. The basement's flooding, and they're trying to get us to quit because we're not getting traction. And it's not that our content's not interesting. It's the fact that they're not pushing our algorithm out. So we got to kick the door. We're kicking the door to the basement. It's flooding. How do we get out? We go on other people's podcasts, and then their subscribers and followers come to ours, right? Now the door opens. Now we're in the living room. Now we're relevant. Okay, I seen that cat. I seen Jovany. He was on Pearl. He was on BlackIceRealityCheck. The door is opening. Now you get there, right? And then it's like, how do I get out of the living room and get to the roof? Now the roof would be like a Joe Rogan, Patrick Bet-David, right? Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh. Who else am I missing? The psychologist, Jordan Peterson. Now there's one more level. The ultimate level is you're going to the moon. That's where you get canceled at that level.
Yeah.
Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate level.
Donald Trump. You see what I mean? Yeah. Elon Musk. Those guys are at a whole new level. And somebody says, well, what if you get canceled? If you're on top of the roof of the house, the building, in this industry, and you want to get canceled because Tucker Carlson, those guys are on the way to the moon. The other guys are on the roof. Like Patrick Bet-David, don't get me wrong, he doesn't want to get canceled. But let's say he did. They made Andrew Tate more relevant by trying to cancel him.
Yeah.
He's the farthest to the moon. He's the most searched guy on Google. He was then and is now. Somebody said to me, well, he's not relevant anymore. I said, no, he is. Once he gets out of jail, and look who picked him up. Patrick Bet-David did this interview. Dude, in a day, 1.2 million in less than a day. It was like 2 hours. You see what I mean? So right now, we're these guys in the basement. Who are these two cats? These guys, look at them. They don't know about women. They're just talking about women. No, we're relevant. We're busting the door in the basement. We're kicking it. I mean, you're like, dude, let's kick this door open. Now it's starting to break. And once it breaks and we get in the living room, it's like, oh, 100,000.
Yeah.
Then you get to $1 million, and you're out of the living room, and you're on the roof, like Pearl, like Fresh and Fit. They're on the roof, right? Now you see Myron's been on Patrick Bet-David. Myron's been on Adam Sosnick. He's Jedediah, right? And you got Rolo and Michael Sartain. They're getting in the living room, right? They're not some are at 100,000. The point is, once you get to 100K on YouTube, now you're in the living room, right? We're all just banging the door. You see what I mean?
No, I agree with that.
If the algorithms were open, we'd been in the living room. Because it was 26K subs in 30 days. And it flatlined. Why'd it flatline? You see?
Yeah, and I like that analogy too. And one thing I want to add to that as well, it's also that there's like the footprints of the red pill, like Fresh and Fit, Pearl, Andrew. And it's like anybody outside of that is, like you said, kind of like not even pushed. Or you say you got people in the comments trying to hate and be like, oh, they don't know nothing. And it's like, for me, I'm a student of the game. Like I'm humble enough to sit back and learn from you,
I learned from you too. That's my point.
From everybody. So I can pay respect to Myron. I can pay respect to Pearl, to Andrew, to Kevin Samuels. I've learned from them.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
I can't sit here and say that like I haven't. But the reality is, like, a lot of this stuff is conversations that men have had in private for years.
Thousands of conversations.
It's the truth.
It's the lounge and the bar conversation.
Exactly. So the only thing with them is they've just made such a big impact to the point if you speak about these things now publicly, you're copying them. No, I pay respect to these people. I pay respect, but the whole point of this type of content is to create conversation.
Let me give you a fact here. I'll tell you this right now, and I'll fillet myself open. I'll expose myself. and I'll say this with confidence and not an ego. I'm the Floyd Mayweather in technical recruiting. I'm the best. I've been doing it for a long 2 decades. I was the guy that the guys go, we got to hire this executive. We need to pull him from, Amazon. They come to me. I was the guy that gets the top engineers that can hack iPhones for, I won't say the individual, but he's a billionaire. He's like, I need people that can hack iPhones so they can protect me. Mm-hmm. They came to me. I was at Microsoft as a consultant. They want to hire me. I said no. I had Amazon as a client. I had all these startups, the biggest gaming publisher in the world. They bring me in to hire their engineering team and their executives. Okay, ready? 2021. The most money I made in 1 year ever in the history of doing this for 2 decades, over 2 decades. Man, I was recruiting when we faxed resumes, bro. That's how old I am. I'm OG, right? I mean, I was breakdancing in the 80s, bro. That's how old I am, right? Right? You know what I'm saying? And so 2021, I'm making lots of money. Since 2022 to now, I've lost millions and millions of dollars. And I mean that because of what I'm doing. But I'm doing it out of passion and because my goal is to empower men like you said, help men.
Yeah.
Because men's mental health, this is Men's Mental Health Month, by the way, but it's being masked by what? Gay pride.
Good point.
So the point is to help these guys out there because men suffer. We have it way harder than women. I'll let you talk about that. Yeah. But the point is like I feel the pull. I feel the need to help because some people say, Dav, you're lucky. Like, hey, guys, how do you do it? How do you pull it? I figured out the game back in the day. I was figuring out the game, man. I was 15 and a half. I was out there at 15. I'm like figuring the game out. I'm like, wait a minute. How come this dude's doing this? How I didn't have money, but I figured out the game. The power of the tongue. I figured out how to, the fake and the funk, present yourself, how to show that, when you walk in a room, you command respect.
Yes, sir.
Right? And then I figured out, oh, wait a minute. If I show up with pretty girls, why are these girls interested? When I show up with my boys, I'm like kryptonite.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Right? But we had to figure that out. We didn't have Rollo Tomasi. Yeah. Rollo, where were you? Right? We didn't have structure. Nobody was guiding us. Mm-hmm. Man, I was on the streets, man. I was watching pimps with all these women. Like, what were they doing? How were these guys doing this? And I'm like, and I figured it out. Mm-hmm. And then as I got into corporate America after the military, the squares, the guys that were the techies, and I'm in their space, they're like, how are you getting these pretty girlfriends? I was like, what do you mean? I didn't know it was an issue. And I started working with them. I role played with them. I said, come on, let's go out. I'll show you. See that girl there? Yeah, watch. I'll get her attention. Prettiest girl in the place. And they're like, how'd you do that? I know the game. And then I took it to another level. Now here I am, decades later, going, there's a lot of men suffering. And with the internet, the delusion of attention.
Yep.
Right? So we're going to talk about how you see the average men suffering right now. I know you talked a lot. I want you to address that. I want you to talk about that.
The average man suffering, yeah. So I think that a lot of men, they live in a fear state. They live in a state of, I don't want to lose access to women. So let me conform to their perception, even though it goes against my moral beliefs and what I believe into my core. And I see a lot of men in relationships with women. I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with men, and they're just unhappy. Their girl doesn't respect them. The relationship is toxic. And I asked them, like, so why don't you just leave? And they have no genuine answer, because for you to break up with her means you would have to go do this all over again. Like, you probably, the average guy, haven't had sex in a year? Like
100%.
Yeah. So it's like, it's a fear state. I don't want to lose access to sex. So you'll stay with a girl that you're not attracted to, that doesn't respect you, that it's just draining. And I just encourage, I encourage men to just break free out of toxic relationships. If you leave. Like, don't go back. I encourage everybody to be empowered to the point where you're secure enough in walking away from a woman.
They don't have the abundance.
They don't have the balls. They do not have the courage. You have to walk away from women. Like, I know someone right now, they just had a toxic little breakup and, oh, I'm done with her. And then 2 days later, right back with him.
But you know why he's back?
But there's a lot of reasons.
Because when he said he was done, subconsciously he believed it. But then when the appearance of him being gone from her, she now was like, oh shit. See, women want what they can't have. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yep.
You can have 10 guys walk in a room. You have a multimillionaire and you can have a brokey. And if he has the right facade and appearance, he'll be more attractive. Mm-hmm. It's a perception.
Right.
Right? I don't want to say fake it till you make it, but he was like, I'm done. That's why Dan Bilzerian blew up. He got out of a bad relationship. He said, I'm just going to have fun. He threw his shit up on the internet. And she's like, oh shit. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't need you. I choose to be with you. But the problem is, these men really need them, and they act like it.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. So, like, you're living in a fear state. A lot of men are with women, they just don't respect them, and I encourage you to be the best version, because the only way to command respect is to be the best man you can be. Like, a woman has to look at you and admire you. Like, your woman should be obsessed with you. Like, if she's not obsessed with you, she's gonna start looking elsewhere. She has to, like, respect everything about you. It's just sad. It's messed up. Like, for the average man, it's difficult because you don't have the money, you don't have the status, you don't have the bargaining power, you don't have the leverage. You have to accept whatever that woman wants. So if you don't have the position of leverage to lay firm standards, how do you navigate through that? You can't. You have to submit to the woman and what she wants and her perception, even though you don't believe it. So 100%. That's why these relationships turn toxic, because you have men that aren't living to, like, they're not living true to who they are, and their women's not respecting them, and it's just this clash, and it creates this negative energy, and it's like, bro, you have to elevate. You can't blame it on the woman. This is why I love people think you hate women when you start talking about this. No, like,
dude, it blows my mind.
No, because I've had people that I've known for years.
You don't look like you hate women. Look at you. You're like G, Mr. G, right? Yeah. You're showing up all good, clean cut.
Appreciate it, man.
You're not. women are like, dude, this guy, he hates, does he look like he hates women? No.
No, it's they can't accept the fact that because like I said, I did do a switch. Like before, it was more personal empowerment, and like women tend to gravitate towards that more. Like a lot of my audience was like 98% or 90% women, and then you see the shift when I start holding women accountable, right? When I'm not holding anything back, and what you'll see is, I have a problem with your stance on women. I get messages all the time, or you must hate women. I'm like, no, honestly, I'll tell you the cold hard truth. When I got red pilled, it made me love women even more. You want to know why? I'm going to tell you why. Because when I got heartbroken or I got chosen over another guy for status, or they had more money than me at the time, I took that personal. Like there was something like, what is wrong with me? Why does this keep happening? But when I got red pilled, I realized, instead of pointing the finger that way, I'm going to point it here, because every time you point the finger, there's 3 fingers pointed back.
Boom.
So it's my fault, because I can't blame her for wanting a guy that can financially support her. I can't blame her for wanting a guy that's able to lead and secure and be in a comfortable, put her in a comfortable position.
100%.
So it's my fault. So now I'm not angry at women. I'm angry at me.
So you're teaching people how to level up. Men, that's what I teach men. You got to level your game up.
Yes.
You got to level. And what I'm going to address this. You hit the nail on the head. So many men, I get these messages, oh man, how do I get this girl? How do I get this girl? How do I find a woman? Stop worrying about that. Work on yourself, elevate your game. You're in your 20s, work on your money, work on your dynasty, work on your legacy, work on your dreams, work on a foundation. They're trying to build a house on bamboo stilts and not stone and concrete. And so many of these young guys, how do I get a girl? How do I get a girl? And there's 2 types of women. There's the career woman and the relationship woman. Right? Those are the 2 that we see. But there's also the transition. And I tell guys, I said, look, you can date, but don't settle down, because once you get to a level of significance, once you get to that level where you're on top of Mount Everest, Mount Rainier, Mount Rushmore, right? You now sit back and you look, you have options. The tables are turned. I don't like Jovany. I don't like Black Ice. Look at those guys.
They don't like when the table gets turned, because the power's not there for them no more.
And we don't need them. Now,
Yes.
Now, I'm going to be transparent. I see a lot of girls on IG, it's like, ooh, I'd hit that. Yeah. Ooh, man. But there's no way I'd be in a relationship with her, because I've already been there.
Yeah.
I've had 10s. I've had Instagram models. I've had models. And so now when I see an Instagram, and it's funny, you want to know how Instagram pushes men? Go to your search tool in your Instagram, and I have women say, oh, it's because you're looking at those girls. No. If I go to my search bar, all I see is hot women. I'm not, I was like, dude. And it's the same shit. 126K, 240,000 followers. And it's like, and there are these girls, and it's like, it does nothing for me. I'm so numb. I'm so desensitized to it. And I'm gonna get deep into that. I'm so desensitized to it. Why? I've been there, done that. This is my point. Guys in your 20s, you're not there yet. You get to 35, you have 6 figures. I know 6 figures, the new 6 figures, I'm gonna talk about that. In an A market. The new 6 figures is 250K. 100K in an A market city, it's tough. Let's be honest. 100K in Seattle, you're at poverty level. I'm from there. I'm here. So Vegas, 100K, you're doing pretty good. But the reality is, the inflation in the economy, you need to be at 250K. And you're 35 to 45 years old, the world is yours. It's Scarface. The world is yours.
Yeah.
First you make the money, then you have the power, then you have the women, right? Right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know? Okay, Frank. Right? So the point is that I see these women now, it's like, been there, done that, been there, done that, been there. And then you see a woman like, ooh, okay. She's not in every country in the world, which means she hasn't had dick from every guy she's been to, all these different countries, right? And she's dressed attractive, but she's not objectifying herself sexually too much. See, there's things I look at now, but when my lens was fogged, when I was younger, we didn't have IG, but when the IG first came out, you're like, oh my God. And now it's like, next. And so all these women think the more they push, it's like I posted, did you see my Twitter post?
I don't have Twitter.
Okay, Cinderella. right? Gave up a shoe, lost a shoe, and she found a man, and they got all these girls half naked on Instagram. They can't get a man. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's not what real men want.
Right.
Now,
That's a good point.
If they get the guy, well, I got lots of guys. I can have a guy. Again, they don't know. Because they're going to get with a guy, and then they're going to say, oh, this isn't really the guy I want. Because a true man of valor that values himself, that has substance, he's not going to want a girl that's doing that.
Right.
They don't see that.
No, it's not that they don't see it. They don't even think about it. They don't think about our perspective. Women are just generally, most women are selfish. A lot of them are narcissistic, and they don't think about what the men want. They just want to, what can I get out of you? Like, what can you provide? It's never about what she could provide. You ask, like, this is why I said where I lost a lot of people, man. Like, I just started asking women these questions, and then they don't have answers to them. When you're a woman and you're demanding all these things from men, and when I ask you, well, what do you bring to the table? You start getting offended because you've never even thought about it.
And I say, what do you bring to the relationship, right? Because it's like all they have is their looks, right? And to an average guy, that's good enough because that's the best they've ever had.
Yeah, that's what they'll accept. I talked about this before, where I said like men are just completely brainwashed. And you talk about like scrolling and seeing anything. It's because you're so like you go on Explore and there's this hot chick after hot chick, and like you say, you'll see her like, damn, I would fuck her, right? But these guys get caught up. I've been a victim to that. Like I had to reprogram myself not too a while back. You get so caught up, you don't even realize you're just scrolling. It's mindless scrolling. You come across all these beautiful chicks, and that's all you ever think about. And it's because that's all you're focused on. And I encourage men, start following people like you. Start following people like Andrew Tate, business pages, inspirational pages, things that are going to shift your perspective. So you're not just at the ground level focused on women. And because when you're focused on women, how are you going to elevate to become the best person, like you said? And you talked about like the major issue in modern day relationships is the roles have shifted, the mentalities have shifted. Like you said, men aren't focused on becoming the best version of themselves, chasing success, chasing status, constantly looking at where they can improve at. They're looking at women. It's switched. Women should be the one focused on men in relationships, and men should be the one focused on success and being the best version of themselves. But it's flipped. Women are chasing careers. Women are chasing success. They've become the men. The men have become the women. What our focus have been shifted completely.
Shifted completely.
Polar, yeah. So I think that's the problem. Whereas men have to come back to the point where I have to be the best person I can, because the modern world, the way it's operating, you are not going to thrive. It sucks, but it's just the reality. It's hard out here. So I know so many men that have depression. That I've known so many men that have wanted to kill themselves, and I've been that shoulder to lean on, and it's all over women. It's them not having the respect from women.
I see that I see the DMs I get, and it's amazing, And I had a guy on TikTok message me, and I didn't figure out the inbox, and I didn't get back to it. I couldn't get back to it. And I finally saw it. He's like, please help, please help, please help. I said, DM me on my IG. Now there's people I coach that I'm charging, but there's some people, like I had a lady that messaged me, and she's, they're worth $8 million. She's having a hard time. And she's like, well, how much you charge? And if it's worth it if you can help me. It's like, I can't guarantee I can help anybody. But I said, let's just chat.
Right.
I didn't charge her a fee, but we went back and forth, and I don't want to throw her laundry out there, but I was like, yeah. So she's like, okay, that's what I needed to hear. But, she was a guy that got together at a young age, and now they're worth $8 million. Mm-hmm. He's high value, so you know what happens? He's like, oh, shit. And now she's having a problem. And I broke it down for her. You got two choices. You can go with a broke guy that's going to cheat on you, or a guy that has a lot of money. Well, that's not the right answer. I'm not saying I agree with it, but this is the reality.
Yeah.
This is the reality. So every time I go through his phone, stop going through his phone.
Yeah.
Be happy he comes home every night. As long as he doesn't bring home a disease and a baby, you should be happy. I'm not saying approve of what he's doing. Have rules, have guidelines. But the guy is 32 years old, worth $8 million. He was a broke guy when you met him. You've been married, you have a kid. What do you want to do? You going to throw it away? 81% chance that if you get divorced and with a child, that child's going to end up in prison. It's going to kill himself, be on drugs, be a murderer, be depressed. You have an 81% chance of failure with that child if you get divorced and a single household. Well, the father's in the life. It's like, doesn't matter. He's a weekend warrior, right? 2 weekends a month.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, I mean, I'm all for it. But yeah, the roles have flipped, and my reality came to light as I was older. And I tell people this, the older women you'll see now finally bending to the knee, saying, oh, I was wrong. Oh, I see it. And I see it. People say, how do you know? Because the women that were 25 when I was 25, they're my age now. Now they're finally admitting that they were wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that's difficult for women to admit they're wrong. It's funny that you bring that up because, like, I'm sure you've been through this. You've been through the game where you do make a mistake, and she'll make a mistake, and you'll point it out and you try to hold her accountable. Her natural instinct is to try to like divert from it. Oh, let's not talk about that. She'll start kissing on you. So because they realize, oh shit, I'm used to being right. I'm used to being the one. I got you. But so when you get them, they don't even know how to handle it. They try to like use sex to like get you to forget about it, or they'll try to like divert from it. So women just aren't used to being wrong because men don't tell them when they're wrong. And I'm not saying like be mean about it. Like learn how to speak with respect. That's that's one thing I don't like about a lot of the guys on the red pill. It's like it's pure anger. It's just like, it's like, okay, women are getting told the truth. Yeah, let's attack. No, it's about having conversation.
Exactly.
Civilized conversation. Like, I can hold you accountable. I can point out your mistakes and still do it respectfully. And
you've seen my podcast. There's been only a couple times I was on a debate where I got tried. I defended myself. But then I was on another show where she said, she made a comment to me and I bit back. But I'm always respectful. But if you cross me, I'm going to bite back. I'll come at you. But I never, why aren't you going after these girls like Myron? I said, well, first of all, nobody's insulting me. They're disagreeing with me. We're having a conversation.
Right.
There's no reason to be an ass. Right. There's no reason to be a jerk. There's no reason, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to degrade a woman. Most of the women that come on my podcast, they expose themselves. Yeah. Because you see my podcast, I start laughing, and they're like, you just said one thing and you said the other, and we start laughing. I'm not saying, oh, you're stupid, you're wrong. It's not about that.
No, it's about having conversation and creating dialogue. And you can't get mad at the viewers and men for just pointing out the inconsistencies in what you're saying. Like you said, they're kind of exposing themselves. You ask women enough questions, you start realizing they don't have the answers to them. And they get frustrated. They start shaming you, attacking you. Like where it should be able to be civil.
Right.
And this whole space is about empowering men. And that's what I'm pushing. Because like you said, there's that passion in you. There's that drive. Because you know the struggle. You know how hard it is for men. You are a man. So it's like you said, you have the money. You don't need to do it. It's just generally wanting to help people. Like I said, like I knew what I was getting into when I started trying to shift into this lane. I knew that I was going to lose people that I cared about. I knew I was going to lose people that were my friends, people I've known for 10 plus years, people I consider family, that we went through life-changing experience together. Some people I put my life on the line before in the past, and gone. But you want to know what I said? When this started happening, I was like, beautiful. You want to know why? I'm on the right path.
Right. Because if you're not doing anything, everybody's your friend.
Yeah, because if you only liked me when I wasn't completely being 100% myself, when I was biting my tongue, now I'm not biting my tongue. I don't care who you are. I'm going to tell you how it is. I'm going to speak my piece. And if you only like me for me catering and pandering to you, then you're not really my friend anyways. And the thing is, when you do elevate and you do progress in life, you realize no matter how much you love people, no matter how much you care about them, not everybody's going to be on your journey. Not everybody's going to support you. You try to make it, nobody shares your video.
Yeah.
They say they love you, but they can't share your video, but they'll share some random stranger's video.
Right.
You got your brother makes music, but you never posted his video, but you'll share this other rapper's video. And it's like, support is hard to come across. So, genuine love and support. So if I'm elevating and becoming the best version of me, ultimately for the people for myself, and so I can provide and protect for the people that I love, and if you're not able to ride with me on that journey as I elevate, then you can get the fuck out of here.
Strong stuff.
I love you, And I'll always love you. And if me and you were to cross paths and I was to see someone try to violate you, I would die then on the spot for you. But as far as being in my life actively, we got to go 2 different ways.
So before we end, what's one message you can send to 2 messages, one to men and one to women, that you would send out right now?
Yeah, that's a good thing. So I think for men, it's just, you have to realize that you can't navigate through this world without having some form of success. You have to elevate. You have to get your money right. You have to look at where you can improve, like your flaws, and just constantly improve on that. Constantly become better. Learn from other people. People aren't humble enough to say I learned from somebody.
Right.
Who I am today is bits and pieces of great men that I've met.
100%.
And even great women that I've met across my life. I've taken things. I wasn't always who I am. So there was a time where I didn't have a certain trait, and that man had that trait. I was like, I could be more compassionate.
Right.
This girl was more open to discussion. I could be more like that. Just taking bits and pieces from great men, great women, not copying, but molding it to who you are and who you want to be. Become that. And you have to have a vision. It has to be back here. Think about everything that exists today started back here. Buildings, cars, everything you see started back here. That's how powerful the mind is. So if you can envision who you want to be in your own head and believe it, you have to believe it. There is no room for doubt. You allow doubt to creep, it's a cancer. It will kill you slowly.
Exactly. So what's one message for women?
Women, my one advice for women would be just to listen to the man and listen to his perspective.
I can just hear it right now.
No.
You say just listen to the man. No.
My advice to women is just to be open to their point of view and understanding that the world doesn't revolve around just your perspective. You have to think about what the man wants, especially if you want marriage, you want family. If you're a girl that doesn't want that, then whatever, do what you want to do. Go out, sleep around, go to the club, whatever. You can do what you want to do. I'm not going to tell you can't do that. But I'm talking about to the women that really want to find a guy, that really want to live in the traditional role. You have to just be more open to what the guy wants. And when he tells you something, trust it.
Good stuff. Man, hey, I wish we had more time. We booked these podcasts and I need to get a 2-hour segment. I want to have you back when I have a room full of ladies out here. I'm going to, switch it up a little bit. I'm going to have a reunion tour, I call it. Right. So I have Hot Vegas nights where I bring single women on, right? Mm-hmm. And I want to bring them all on at the same time. I want to have you come out. I don't know if you know who Rico Hundo is from 8 at the Table. Mm-hmm. You ever seen him? He's in New Jersey. You guys, I'm going to connect you two. Okay. Because we're all at that. We're trying to kick the door in, right? Yeah. I appreciate you coming out, bro. I do. This is awesome. I think you got a great future. I think all of us can build off each other. Yeah. We can all be supporters and stand strong, and we're battling. We're out there in the field. Yeah. So
before we end this, I just want to say to your viewers, man, give this man some respect, because there's a lot of people that don't have that perspective. It's selfish. It's all about you. You're about helping other people, and that is rare. To extend your hand. You're extending your hand. Man, yeah. Because you didn't have to, you invited me here.
Yeah.
And I'm humbled. I'm grateful. And I appreciate the opportunity. And I just want to say, the viewers out there, support this man, subscribe to him, follow him.
And make sure, my subscribers, make sure you go to his Instagram and his future YouTube, his TikTok. Mm-hmm. Subscribe. All you guys, all the people that see this, just follow him. He's got some great insight. I mean, I was watching some of your videos. I'm like, this guy's, man, he's on it. I'm not as quick as some of you guys. I'm like, man, these dudes, they're savants sometimes. And I'm like, how did he remember all that? So
my thing is, I'm learning to transition from videos to podcasts, because it's different when you have someone talking in your ear and you have to think at the same time.
Oh, man.
Whereas your video.
Before we end, I have a nootropics, a cognitive nootropics brain focus supplement coming out. It's going to compete with Alpha Brain, which is Joe Rogan's product. Okay, it's called HV Alpha. It's launching this month, but I took 2 before I got on here. Because I'm like, man, you see Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, you're like, you just want to quit. Right. You know what I mean? And some of these guys, it's just like Rollo Tomasi, Michael Sartain, my God. Have you seen him? It's like, dude, he doesn't stop talking. There's no off button, right?
Mile a minute.
I was like, dude. So anyways, man, thank you, bro. Jovany YD, Black Ice Reality Check. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Follow this guy on his Instagram.
And my TikTok, same.
And his TikTok. Yeah. If you like this video, click the like button. Click the bell for notifications. Share this video. Stay strong, and we'll see you soon.